Right, here we are in the shed. This is my mini mill, Chester Champion 16, and yeah, nice little mill. Only downside is I've got no DROs on here. I'm sure some of these have a similar cast and different makes have a Quill DRO on the front here. It's obviously very handy, you don't have to worry about backlash and all that kind of thing. So what I thought I'd do is add a DRO. So I've got one of these, this is an M-Sure digital scale, which I intend to mount somewhere and pick up the Quill travel. Now, originally I thought maybe on the front. Obviously I'm going to have to cut this down. This is 6 inches, a little bit too long. Or on the side. So one of those is going to be the position for fitting this, and it has a separate gauge, which I'm just waiting for that to be delivered. So I've got to somehow figure out firstly where I'm going to mount it and how I'm going to pick up off the Quill. There is a flat spot on here, so I can maybe come out with the bracket and pick up these fixing holes on the back. So obviously this scale fixes, and this is the moving part. I'm going to have to cut this down obviously to mount it on here. The only other place to pick it up is from inside here. If I just take this cover off, it will make a bit more sense. Okay, so behind that cover there is a gap here, you can see that. There's obviously some fixing points here, which is probably where the other one, I probably use the same casting, probably where the other ones have their gauge mounted. So basically what I'm thinking is I can maybe move this forward the way. I'm thinking if I could get some kind of slider up there, fix it to the Quill here, so that will move up and down with the Quill, and then fix that to the rear of this. That would probably be the easiest place to fit it, although it may well then be in the way of this, and that is on there. Maybe, depends how far we can get it, maybe okay. Maybe have to have the cable on that side. That would possibly fit. That's one option. Or like I say, on the other side. So the first thing is I'm going to have to cut this down. Right, so I've been having another think about this, and I think I'm probably better to mount that on that side rather than the front or the other side. So start to make up some brackets. Got this little piece of square bar, which I just milled the ends flat, which I think I will tap screw on there, so get this in a bit closer. It's not very good there. Right, that's probably better. So yeah, a little bit of bar, a little bit of square bar. So I'm going to drill that, tap this, mount that on there, and it's got this little bit of angle bracket. So I'll fix that to there. I'll probably just weld that on there, I think, and that will give me a flat face on this side. That I can fix. Got some aluminium bar I can then fix to there, which will give me my up and down movement. Right, that's where we are so far. I've changed the orientation a little bit to give me more space this side. This was the other way around. I've just done it like that, so it'll pull this bar which fixes onto there. I'll take it that way more rather than further this way, so it'll give me more space to fit that. Just go around there somewhere. Smash the camera up while I'm about it. I've just got two M4 threads in there. Just have to be careful how far you go in, because you can see you can't go no deeper than this collar. So I've got about 10mm of thread in there, and I've got a couple of M4 tapped holes in there to fix this upright on. And the only other thing I'm going to now have to do, if I just take that off, is I'll try to do this one-handed. See if I put a piece of paper in between the bracket and the casting. You can see that is tight. It's torn a bit of paper. So I'm just going to have to take a little bit off the off the top edge of there, so that will go up against this bump stop here. So that'll be the next thing to do, just take that out and sort that out. Right, so I've just let that down. See, I've just taken a piece out of there, so that will now go right up to its bump stop, and that doesn't interfere, just slips over the side. So that will sort that out. Yeah, so the next thing will be to fit this piece on, I think, and I need to make a little bracket to go across, fit the back of that. These are M3, I'm not sure if I've got any M3 screws suitable, so I might have to order some. And the other crazy thing about this is both the scale and the readout have male mini B connectors, so you can't connect the two together, which is crazy because they list them as being compatible. So whether you're supposed to have some sort of junction box or something, I don't know, but there's far too much cable on there anyway for my needs. It's roughly the same amount on the dial, on the indicator, so I will probably end up just cutting this to length anyway once it's all fitted on and I know what sort of length I need. Okay, so now I've got this piece of aluminium just bolted on there. I just need to cut it off at that point, because I don't need all that length there. Let's see the extent of travel. Move that down on that red line there. Cable in the way now. So that is the maximum depth that this needs to go, and so that will be fixed somewhere around there. To this, just need to make another little bracket to go across, fixing the back. I have cut this down that much, the scale that is, cut this piece off the end of the scale, and I've had to reverse this bracket. It would normally be that way around. I'll just have to reverse it there so I can screw it to the casting. Didn't really want to put it on this tin plate there. You know, I'm assuming that this casting is fairly level, and this is the actual dial, which is magnetic, so I can more or less put that, you know, wherever I want. Probably will end up going there, that point somewhere. But so next thing will be to cut this down and make up a bracket to join these two together, which will go in the back. Let's say I don't think I've got any M3 screws, so I'm probably going to have to order some of them and then figure out what I'm going to do with this 6x cable I've got. Whether I'm just going to get a couple of female ends and just make a connector, or either that. Probably much neater would be to cut the cables and join them together. Okay, so like I said earlier, both the gauge or the display and the scale have got these male mini B plugs on, so obviously you can't plug one directly into the other. So I've got these little female sockets on the board off eBay, a couple of those, so I can link the two together. And the next problem was there didn't seem to be any documentation I could find as to the pinouts. So after a lot of searching, there was no reference on the M-Sure site as to what the pinouts were. So I've sort of did a bit of hunting around on the internet and came across some documentation that referred to, I think they were Shahi scales, I think that's how you say it, and also these displays by another manufacturer which did have some references. So using that information, I've connected these two together. Basically it's not a straight connection between these two, and you only use 4 of the pins on the scale and 3 of the display, and you need a separate power supply for the scale because there's no power output from the scale back down the USB cable. So what I've got is basically this. I'll do a bit of drawing and put that on the video, but as you can see, these are the pins on the scale, these are the pins on the display, and what is on each one. So you can see there's no straight connection between either one. Pin 2 on the display is not used as far as I can tell to connect the two together, and pin 4 on the scale is for your positive power, your 3.3 positive volt, and the ground needs to be connected between the scale and the display for it to work, and also to the battery supply. So that's what I've done here. I've got my grounds just in this board to just to connect them together. Unfortunately I haven't got another battery holder, so I'm going to do that manually. So that's my ground, my common ground. That's my power to the scale, and that's my lead to the display. As you can see, there's only 3 wires in there connected. I've just used these DuPont connections. So if I now power that up, that's the positive side, that's the negative. So that's the power for the scale. So if I now move this, hopefully you'll see some. Let's see, I've just zeroed that down the bottom. So hopefully you can now see some movement in there. So that is now working as it should. Like that. Yeah. So the next thing I need to do is get all this lot into a enclosure, which I've found something I've had for another project I did. So I'm going to use that to put this lot in, and obviously the battery. I've ordered a battery holder I can use, so I'll probably have to make these connections onto a little bit of pin 8 board, and that will sort that one out. So there we are, that's all installed. Milli-mil Quill DRO seems to work fairly well. Don't want the refresh is a little bit slow. Zeroes out again. That seems to be correct. Yeah, so all is good. In the end I didn't bother with the connectors, the little sub USB connectors. I've just paired the wires in there, cut the cable right back because there was way too much cable, and I've just got it all under the heat shrink, and for the moment just got my battery taped on there. I just need to get a switch and a proper battery holder, and I can put the lid on that box, and I will mount that. I'll just make that up there out of the way, and I can tidy all these wires back. Yeah, that can just tuck out the way somewhere. Looks like all I need to do is just have access to the switch. It's a bit awkward, got this on the tripod. Yeah, As you can see down the side, that's basically attached there. So as that moves up and down, that moves this slider. That's attached there. So that all seems to work quite well, quite smooth. Yeah, quite happy with that.